Welcome to episode 55 of the Ski Instructor Podcast. My name's Dave Burrows and I'm the director and owner of Snow Pro Ski School based here in Val d'Illier in Switzerland. Hope you're all well. I'm messaging this from a very rainy and wet Val d'Illier today, which is nice because it's been, it's been more or less sunny for about 3 weeks now, so it's nice to see a change in the weather. We had a magnificent kind of storm came through the valley last night, lightning everywhere and thunder. It was really dramatic, and when the thunder rolls in this valley, it sort of reflects all around, bounces off the Dent du Midi, and you get some amazing sound effects, which really makes everything quite dramatic when we have a storm here. So it's great, and it's nice to have the sort of freshness in the air because it's been, hot for a while, and I prefer it a little bit cold. So it's nice to take all that heat out of the air. In terms of the ski world, not much has been going on. I've been sort of occupied with post-season and preparations for next season, which is quite interesting. So just trying to wrap up and get around and see everybody, talking to a lot of our main clients and putting in place their dates for next year, which allows us to kind of plot the big stuff, and then we sort of fit in our normal private clients around that. And I'll be contacting all of those guys really early, getting all of the early birds in, and really start attacking that in September. And a bit of recruitment as well, which has been interesting this year. Lots of really high quality candidates for some of the positions that we had. That in itself has been quite interesting. The one that we're really struggling with is EU passport holders qualified to a certain level for one of the resorts that we work in, and those guys, there seems to be less and less of those people available. I guess they're all getting recruited into all the other resorts as well, so there's more competition for those people with the golden ticket, EU passport or Swiss residency, that we really need in order to be able to employ people in certain resorts that we work in. But, we're almost there with that. So I'm sort of 2 yeses away from finalising our team for next year, which will be excellent. Other than that, then we're about to go into July and August, which for me is the equivalent of sort of going around the dark side of the moon in a spaceship. No one wants to talk about skiing in July and August. Everyone's on holiday. All of the people that we deal with are all away on holiday. And it's a really tough time of the year. So I'll be using that time just to kind of tidy up and get ready for our sales sort of season, which starts in September in earnest. And I'm very much looking forward to that. It's really good fun. I enjoy getting in touch with people and figuring out the jigsaw puzzle that is the diary for next winter. So that gives me a bit of time to finish off this podcast. So this episode 55 is going to be Darren Turner part 2, and this is the second half of the excellent conversation that I had with Darren in Aosta in the autumn, just before the ski season that's just gone past. I had a wonderful chat with Darren, and I was thinking of turning this particular episode into a 3-part episode, but listening to the flow of it, it's much easier just for it to run as one long one. And this episode will end up being about an hour and a half long, which I know that you all don't mind. So I think it's going to be really good. In this episode, we talk about the development of the Ski School app. If you remember from the last episodes, Darren has gone on to a life beyond skiing a little bit. Still teaches, but also is involved in film production and making videos for corporations and that kind of thing. And we also talk about the philosophy of technical skiing and teaching. There's a lot of stuff in that, and there's even a little bit about carve and some other things at the end as well. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this 2-part series with Darren as much as I enjoyed making it. I think you can tell from the interaction that we had in this, especially in this second part, just how much fun we had sort of sitting there and chatting. And I hope you get as much out of it as I did making it. So on with the interview, and we started by talking about his transition into the next part of his life after skiing, which is video and film production. Enjoy the interview. Later on, I'd love to talk about skiing teaching philosophy. We touched on it a little bit, but I want to follow the timeline a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong, and I've got the timeline wrong because I'm guessing this based on what I've seen. But so, independent instructor, but as I see it, the really innovative and different thing that you did way before everybody else was that series of instructional videos on YouTube, way before anyone else. And was it that led you off then into the kind of the world of media and video, or was that just like I see an opportunity there, I'm going to do that, and then?
Yeah, I mean, in massive sort of double-edged sword. It was so positive and great thing to do. It's a shame it didn't follow how it could have gone. Mm-hmm. But that's fine because there's new things in the pipeline.
Okay.
Yeah, fundamentally, I watched quite a lot of videos and saw some things on the internet.
Yeah.
And believed that I think they could be improved. Mm-hmm. Without, again, it's very easy to poke at things and go, that's not very good, and then you don't do anything about it. Yeah. I didn't want to slag anything off. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to get on and think and take what I believed would work.
Okay.
Met a couple of guys. One was a friend I'd known for a while, and another guy was a guy that did some filming for Salomon TV back in the day and all that. And we did some filming in Serre Chevalier. They were trying to get some stock skiing imagery. We started doing a bit of that. And it was towards the end of the season, and I remember finishing and just thinking, do you know what, there's got to be a way we can use film and maybe do a series of technique.
Since you got those guys there with you, right? Since
I met them, since we worked together, since, and I did a little bit of filming back in Verbier with a guy called Guido Perini, who's sort of like Red Bull superstar cameraman. I should try and, again, throw myself off cliffs, and that's why I'm short. I used to be 7'3".
You really landed.
My name was Barbara, long blonde hair.
I'm sorry, by the way, it's so cold in here. My wife's gone off with the key, which is the heater, and I'm trying to turn some lights on because I'm basically interviewing you in a dark room. Oh, there we go. Right. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so that I'd already done a little bit of skiing for film, and again, I think it was a bit of an ego thing back in those days. But after searching stuff online, I thought, why not make a series?
Was there much in the way of online sort of?
Yeah, there were some things online that I'd seen, but again, I think that was more of an inspiration than a put off.
Yeah.
And this is back in, I think it was 9-10 years ago, something.
At least, right?
Yeah,
I remember seeing them.
Yeah, it's about 9-10 years ago, and I remember having a bit of an epiphany and thinking, DVD is dead.
Yeah.
Online starting.
Yeah.
But why not have it as an application?
Okay.
So I think it was a Jamie Oliver app I saw, and before that, in my head, an app was a game, was a weather forecast, and he did a series of menus and how to cook, and it was small videos on the app.
Okay.
And that was like, that's it.
Yeah.
You need this in your pocket when you're skiing. It's not any good in a DVD machine in the UK or back in your house, wherever it may be.
Because guys like Warren Smith had a load of success with DVDs before.
Yeah.
But that was, back in the day, people used to buy tapes and
and
DVD series and stuff.
Yeah, and get it and stick it in. But the idea was to have something that was in your pocket.
Yeah.
You could watch it on a lift. Mm-hmm. And obviously the world's changed a lot in this time. All the films are on the app.
Yeah.
So you didn't need a Wi-Fi connection. You could watch it when and where you wanted.
Oh, cool.
And James, one of the other guys, he said, look, I think we should stick it on YouTube. At least some of it, which will act as a...
As like a feeder for the download of the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that was just a shock. Because I think it's nearly had 60 million views or something now.
Yeah.
And I remember...
Presumably you check the button that says income.
Yeah. So we were making AdSense and making money, and the apps were selling, which was great. And people I remember speaking to Warren at the ski show one of the years, and he's like, I don't know how have you done this? Because people have been trying and throwing a lot of money at it to try and make it work. I remember thinking, because I had on notifications on my phone when people subscribed to the channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I remember just turning it off because it was
just dinging all the time.
Dinging and dinging and dinging.
It's great.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing and very unexpected to get. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought the content was good, but I think what worked was the simplicity.
Yeah.
It wasn't heavy technical jargon. It's quite light-hearted.
Yeah.
And watchable, and people would watch one and then they'd watch another one and then they'd watch another one, and it wouldn't feel like some dark craft.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of films beforehand, and as a professional who'd been skiing, all their adult life and working with skiing, if I'm starting to get bored or confused halfway through, what is the average Joe going to do?
Yeah.
They're either going to blame themselves for thinking that I'm stupid and I don't understand, which is often a common issue. People can have a lesson doing anything with a bad instructor of anything and blame themselves at the end of it. Oh God, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
I'm obviously stupid, but maybe they've just had the coach has not adapted to them, doesn't even notice that they're maybe struggling understanding.
I've definitely delivered a couple of sessions that have been overly technical in my life, and kind of I can see the look of confusion.
Yeah, but you end up going down a warrant hole because you've gone in technical, and then you have to go technical to explain what you've started.
Yeah.
And then you just...
I kind of did it because I thought that they were capable of...
You need to get Stephen Hawkins to write a book about lessons.
Drawing pictures of the snow. Yeah, it's too much.
And I still see, exactly as you said, I remember thinking back, and I remember just, you can see younger instructors not only confusing the client, but themselves.
Yeah.
But then you started this technical
You've got to
thing.
Go.
And,
They don't realise that simplicity is key. I'm just going to get a cup.
Yeah.
I can't believe she went out with the key. Yeah, so...
Yeah, keep it... And coming back to what we said about priming the client and getting something to stick to them.
Yeah.
So many people, I think, I see on the mountain will try and give their guest, their client, 6-7 things in a 2-hour session.
Yeah.
Thinking what they're doing is giving them value for money, but nothing's stuck. No,
Jazz Lamb talked to me about the early podcast interview, and he was always saying he was just looking. And sometimes he said it would take a certain bravery to do it, but to have 2 or 3 runs and you're still looking, and you're looking for that one thing that's going to make the most difference to that person.
Yeah.
And I tell you, he's right. It takes a certain amount of bravery to sit there and just analyse and just wait.
A good way of doing it though is to make the person almost anticipate that, or as in, you can say, do you know what, Tony? There's something going on. I'm still trying to work it out, and that's, I think, installs in them. Okay, he's looking for this. It's like, you wouldn't be that happy with your doctor if he said, yeah, there's something wrong, but I'm not going to do any tests anymore because I've had enough today. So just you still talk about a few things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, I don't want to go down that road yet, maybe, but it baffles me how little or how many skiers that ski for decades still really don't understand what they're
doing. Yeah, how they're doing
fundamental concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they've been maybe told wrong things, maybe they've interpreted it wrong. Maybe,
that's often,
it's hard to say, but people actually trying to do things in a certain way that's really holding them back, but they think that's exactly what they should be doing.
Yeah, because the message has come to them wrongly in a previous lesson or something.
Yeah, or they've, as you said, they've remembered it badly, or it's.
Well, that's understandable, right? Because there's a lot going on, on people's holiday weeks. They're not going to necessarily remember the one or two things that they got in that lesson that they had on the first day, because they might have had an argument with their kids or something. And there's all sorts going on, isn't it?
And trying to get somebody to write maybe one or two things down at the end of a lesson, just make a couple of notes if they want to. I'm not going to stand there and force them to.
Yeah.
And let's face it, if everybody remembered everything you told you, we'd probably be doing a lot less work. But
yeah, that's true.
Just trying to slow things down, cement it, maybe one or two smaller things. Again, it all fits under this prime that client, get them ready to then potentially have the piece that you put on them and they go, that has revolutionised my skiing. In a 2-hour session. And that, to me, that should be a consistent thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you can give somebody a 2-hour lesson, especially if they've not had much coaching. And sometimes, the amount of people that come to me who've had gone on a lot of various ski courses, and they're confused as hell, or trying to do something that really helps them back.
Yeah.
Is it bad messages? Are they not listening? It's
just so variable, isn't it? Because you can go between different resorts, you get different people, different ski schools, different methodology, different philosophies. You can't. There's no one way to skin a cat amongst ski schools, so you're going to get a different thing each time, and what someone sees is not necessarily what the other guy will see as important.
I mean, I would say my clients these days are very different to ski school clients, and I'm not talking level of class skiing, because I still teach at a lot of different levels, but I think the people are there, they've found you. I mean, the lessons on YouTube still act as a huge publicity.
They do?
Yeah, I mean, I've had skiers from all over the world that have specifically come to Little Serre Chevalier for coaching, rather
based
than when I started independently, it would be much more, I'm coming to Serre Chevalier these weeks, and I don't want to go in a ski school. So I would say my clients are very different, and they really want to learn.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. If somebody wants to be there and they want to learn.
Yeah, it's very different, right?
Whereas random ski school lessons, you would get a whole mixture of people with different agendas and different goals, and it always amazed me. You'd be skiing and you have a sneaky look behind, and the guy's girl, whatever, skiing sort of with their hands in their pockets, leaning back, just doing all the classic sort of things wrong. But if you actually physically turn your head, they would put their hands in front.
All of a sudden.
And you think, well, why? I'm not saying it for me. It's not.
It's true, right? Like, it's you.
It's for you to learn. What am I? Yeah. So
we're not just playing a game here.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, that, isn't it?
Very. So
it's like, I say to them, we're not in. This isn't a school class. Like, because it's called a ski school. It's not an actual school like when you were at school.
I'm
not like the teacher. I don't really care whether you do it or not.
Detention. I'm not gonna talk to your parents after this lesson. No, it's weird.
It's your loss, right? If you don't do it, you don't do it. I don't. It's not going to keep me awake at night. But my goodness.
But that. So I suppose going off on a tangent there. But the media stuff we ended up, I think there was something like over 100 films in total. I think most of them on YouTube, not all.
Over the course of how long?
3 years or so.
Okay.
So there was 4 apps. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert. And unfortunately, things just started falling off a bit, falling apart. I think when you go into business with people, it's like a marriage, a relationship, whatever.
I hear that. Yeah.
And I just started to get a bit fed up with feeling that actually it was all helping me, not being a business that we can go forward with.
Okay.
Because it was my name on the whole thing.
For sure, yeah.
But that was the product we went into, and no, it was the best thing I've done.
Yeah.
As in, great, I did it, but it got to a point where it was like, you know what, let's move on.
It's difficult sometimes, business partners. I had one when I started the ski school, and Ben, congratulations on your new baby. And we, parted on great terms, but he just didn't want the same thing that I wanted, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And he hit that. I don't think he'll mind me saying. I don't think he hit that sort of classic wall where you have to either decide to spend the rest of your career, life, whatever, in the Alps, or you go home and get a air quotes real job.
Yeah.
And that's what he chose, and he's done a great thing where he is now doing what he's doing. But it's just how it goes. And I think you need to be transparent and say what you want. And it just got to the point where I think it wasn't called Darren Turner Ski Coaching Technique app. It was Ski School app. Yeah.
But yeah, there was a little bit of resentment. I think that it seemed to be helping me and my skiing business, but that it was a film about ski technique.
Yeah.
So the great thing was though that it taught me a lot about film.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot about presenting. Gave me massive confidence that actually maybe that I was okay at standing there talking.
Yeah.
And there was a I don't think there's nothing revolutionary about what I'm saying, but I think just keeping it simple and getting it across in the right way.
Yeah. There is, up to that point, because I've been reflecting on this quite a lot lately, it's that concept of like imposter syndrome. You heard of this, where you sort of, where you're, I'm only just, if I'm honest with everybody, I'm only just really starting to feel comfortable with who I am in this industry, and I still, in the presence of guys like you who've been around longer than I have, I still feel like I'm kind of not really.
No, I think it's an interesting point. I think I probably had it right from the days of 14-year-old, 15-year-old.
Yeah, teaching people, right?
Well, forging lift passes and going on this race camp and pretending that I'd been on snow when I hadn't, and wanting to be this person up there, but knowing that I probably was there and what am I doing, and there's still a little bit of that. So it was nice to have that justification, but that also led on to things like the series I did for Dina Star, explaining to them there's a hell of a lot of stuff that goes into the making of these skis. Why aren't you telling your customers and explaining that element of it? Because they're working in the industry, they're kind of blinded to everything, and they just think the process of getting a prototype ski to a shelf was just a normal thing. They've done it for years and they're just going to keep doing it, whereas for a lot of people it's quite fascinating.
Absolutely, yeah. And they don't realise, because it's just, we make skis, that's what we do.
So that led on to doing some stuff with them. I did a 15-part series for TUI with Crystal called Holiday Hacks, and after that I kind of went, do you know what, I need to learn how to film. I want to do the whole thing. I want to learn how to film, edit. I'm even making a bit of music for the films. I'm doing the whole package.
All right.
And now I'm kind of doing stuff for real estate, for yachts, for the IT company I was supposed to go back for.
Let's dive into that a little bit more. So you said that you wanted to get better at it. My role in the podcast is to ask the questions. That if it was me listening to the podcast driving 100%. Along, I would be like, Dave, why didn't you ask this? So you said you want to get better at it. Did you go somewhere to learn how to do it?
I went to YouTube. No, I think
where you can learn
joking
anything,
aside,
by the way.
yeah, exactly. Joking aside, I got a camera. I pitched a few pitches to some people not knowing anything. And now when I look back at them and I think, oh my God, they're terrible. But I think it's like any process, there is good has got no end point. And then when lockdown started, I bought I would say the first proper camera.
Okay.
And tried to learn, things like frame rates and shutter speed and what makes that shot interesting compared to that shot boring.
Okay.
And get quite geeky about all that. Because I've worked with some really good camera guys.
Yeah.
And getting into it, you end up going filming and it's like, well, why does my stuff doesn't look as good as theirs? I mean, a lot of it is they've done it for 10 years,
So they just know what looks right.
Yeah, and giving depth to a shot and thinking about where I'm going to be and how's that shot going to work with that. And
yeah.
What's interesting, like if I think about, I used to go and film and I'd get home and think about the edit and then you'd look through and there's probably 20% of what I shot would be usable.
Okay.
Whereas now it's probably more 80-90% of what you shoot is usable because you know that shot is going to work with that and then I'm going to go to there, and so you're editing in your head as you film.
Yes.
And your shots are better. And
so this is what I've often sat here and wondered this because I consume pretty much. We don't have TV.
Yeah.
I pretty much YouTube is the only place I go for that kind of stuff, and I watch a lot of kind of motorbike content because that's my hobby outside skiing, and I often wonder with videos that I watch. So they'll be testing like a new bike somewhere on a racetrack or something like this, and I'm like, how did they stitch this together to get all of this stuff in the right order, and then all these little infill bits that they do in between the bits, and you're like, the only way that this can be possible is if, as they are doing it, or as they are there, they've got an idea in their mind how it's all going to roll out and stitch together in the editing process. Yeah. And so they know that they need certain shots. If they know roughly what the video is going to look like at the end.
And it's coming back to teaching, a good lesson has a beginning, middle and an end.
Yes, it does, yeah.
And if you know that that's your story, you can be fairly fluid. I mean, back when we filmed Ski School app, the poor camera guy, editor, because I didn't do scripts, and I think that really helped with the way that the film worked. It really helped because it was much more like a lesson, rather than I'm now gonna put my weight on that ski and then and you don't sound like Roland from Grange Hill. That's just for the English listeners. Sorry, anyone else?
Oh my God, it dates everyone, that one.
But the end result was better, but it was really hard to put together for him because the sentence structure and all that would be a little bit all over the place, but we got everything was there, but it just took longer to squeeze it out. Whereas I think when you've become more used to filming, and the guys you're watching probably on the motorbike things, they will have an idea of what's going to happen. They might not have to write everything down into a shot list. I don't really do that. Some people will have to. Some people really work. That's an opening shot. That establishes where I am. That's where I'm going to be. And that's when you watch TV. And something James, the original cameraman of Ski School app, he said we all watch a lot of TV. If something doesn't work, you probably won't be able to say why it didn't work. But your brain will go, I don't want to watch this, it's weird, it's boring.
Oh yeah? Okay.
You'll switch off. I mean, the internet now...
Yeah.
You probably, to the untrained eye, you wouldn't say, that film was rubbish because You would just go, I'm not watching that. And you switch off and you move on to the next one.
Okay.
I think... Generally speaking, with YouTube, doesn't matter what it's about. If you feel that the person's giving you information and you kind of feel that they're honest and you kind of like them, you'll watch their content.
Yes.
even if it's not necessarily best filmed, even if it's not the most amazing images, if it's not shot on a 50 grand camera, the narrative and the content is what makes it engaging.
That's true. And sometimes if it is amateurish, it's like part of it. You know, like
you can. I mean, you give somebody who knows how to make a film can make a better film on an iPhone than somebody
because
who
the storyboard flows.
And they're going to know how to use it, and that angle's going to be there. If I put you higher in the shot, it gives you the viewer a feeling you're powerful.
Oh, right. Okay.
If I put the camera above you, you're smaller, and all these little tricks that you kind of pick up. No, I find it's interesting. I don't think I would have gone down the road if I didn't enjoy it.
But so you haven't done any kind of formal learning, you've done the same thing you did like previously, which is kind of just
formal learning of doing. Doing and working with other people and kind of picking it up. But I think that it helps standing in front of groups and delivering content. Yeah, for sure. It's not really any different to doing it in front of a group of people than to a camera. Apart from some people, as soon as you put a camera in front of them, they clam up to hell. Yeah. My show-off element probably helped me through that.
Do you... I spoke to a number of people about this. Is that you off camera? As in, are you quite like a showman, or is it all an act in front of the camera? I'll put it on the table. I am the opposite, so I'm kind of. I shy away from all that. But in a lesson situation, something turns on.
Yeah, because I think you're being paid to do it, and that sounds silly, but it's like people. I'm sure you've had it as well. People say, "I don't know how you teach people." Once you're being paid and it's your job. Yeah. And you train to do that job and you want to be doing that job, obviously it's a different thing than, I don't know, some guy on holiday teaching his friend to ski down and thinking, this is my holiday, I don't want to be doing this. Obviously it's never going to work. It never bothered me to I used to work a lot, entertainment and things like that, bars, and it would bother me a lot less to stand up in front of 200 people and speak publicly than it would do filling a form in a bank. That would make me sweat and clam up. But being a gobshite, so to me that's something you have to do in front of the camera. You're kind of you, but 15%. You have to more because it's very easy to stand in front of a camera and come across as a boring fart. Flat. Yeah, that's my nature when I have to do stuff. And also tics. Like again, firstly, I used to say "okay, so" in front of everything. Okay, so. Yeah. Okay, so, and the guy actually edited them all together. Yeah. And I was like, I had no idea I was saying that. Okay, so. Okay, so what we're going to...
it gives you that little thinking space. That's what that is, isn't it?
It's like a dull. A lot of people go...
I've noticed when I've been listening to the edits of these and cutting them, I don't say at all when I'm speaking to someone in the thing. When I'm doing the introduction to these, it's full of thinking spaces like that. Yeah. It's like, and it's like...
Yeah, because this is a two-way chat. Yeah. Which, if you're filming interviews or doing stuff, it's so much easier to do it like this. Yeah. Than when somebody's just got to deliver something to this camera. Mm-hmm. I mean.
Now I have to I write down the topics and I kind of practice them and make sure they flow to minimise that thing. So I don't know. Sorry, listener, for all these.
No, but it's like anything. The more you stand in front of a camera and the more you do it. And what's nice now is to be sort of almost to finish off what you're saying, that to be fairly competent behind the camera, in front of the camera, drone shots, think about how it's going to work, put the edit together, edit it to the music. Yeah. It's been a long process to get, I suppose, to a point where I can go, I'm proud of that.
I do
work. Which is going to lead me going back to trying to produce more ski content.
How did you learn? This question just popped in my head. How did you learn to price this stuff? Because like when you're a ski pro, right, coach, instructor, call it what you want. Like roughly what you need to charge you, right? Sort of in comparison with everybody else. But if Rossignol comes to me and says, I need to produce a video and it needs to have like 10 episodes and it's all about how we manufacture skis, how do you even go about like knowing what to pitch that at?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like anything.
Did you make those mistakes right at the start?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can always make the mistakes it's in the same way if you're a builder or if you're a painter, or you kind of work out what you think, how long it's going to take you.
Yeah.
And work back and add a bit more on, because there's always going to be cock-ups or things that take longer, or, I mean, you need a certain amount of equipment, obviously, which is an investment.
Yeah.
If a builder's going to come around your house, part of what you're paying for is his tools.
Yeah, that's right.
And the hands that work those tools. But, quotes is horrible.
Yeah.
Because what's quite nice is being in almost a one-man unit, is that the way a lot of these companies will go to a production company.
Right.
They'll have a guy that they'll speak to at the production company. He will then brief a producer, maybe a director. If it's a fairly big shoot, producer, director, one, maybe two camera guys, a sound person. If they need a voiceover, they'll get someone to do a voiceover. If they need somebody to speak to the camera, they'll get a guy to do that.
Yeah.
So for some of these companies, it's a lot cheaper for them to pay me to try and do all of that than it would be to pay a production company that's got 5-6 people maybe working.
And they're all freelancers, aren't they, in that industry?
Depends. I mean, it can change a lot.
Right.
Depends on that. And it's not a question that their work won't be good. It will be.
Yeah.
But it may really outprice what they want to do. I mean,
and it gets complex when you've got that many moving parts, right?
Production in general. I remember, again, this is not me saying this, is that James generally said high-end production, similar to what we did with Ski School app, or good cameras, good audio. We spent time doing them. It wasn't a GoPro, it's not.
Yeah.
He kind of said edited, color graded, music, you're looking at about £1,000 a minute.
A minute? Wow.
Generally.
Like finished on air minute.
Finished on air minute, music, edited.
Crikey.
So it's not cheap if you were to pay a production company to film your Ski School, a series of 30 films, high-end production values. It's not a cheap venture.
No, it's not, is it?
And a mountain's not an easy environment to film in.
No. You've got to have the right day. Presumably you've got to get everyone there on the right day when the sky is blue. Like no one's got.
Yeah, and also the weather never will. Remember, we filmed things about skiing in flat light, and it was like, right, the light's crap. Let's film flat light, and then you'd be halfway through the intro and the sun will come out. But it's been a nice little offshoot, and I'm certainly not giving up skiing.
But is that direction that you're? Is that?
It's just nice to choose.
You in that?
Yeah, it was just nice to be able to not choose so much. That's the wrong word, but do a bit of both. And that's the idea in the next few years, is just to recombine it all and start again trying to churn out a decent amount of content around skiing, ski technique, skiing
in general.
Yeah.
Places.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Cool.
It's
nice because I think when I look at the ski school and I look at skiing in general, there's a couple of things that I can see where it might end up going. Is one, if I build the ski school well enough, someone might come along one day and say, hey, I'd like to buy that. Now, that might be a thing. Two, I really enjoy doing it. It's kind of like, for me, it feels like an enormous game almost. Yeah. I don't really worry too much about money and numbers and stuff. It's just like, there's a way of keeping score, but like, I just enjoy it. I like sort of playing with this thing that I built and seeing what it could do and what it can't do. But I'm actually now at the point where I can't really see what else I would do apart from maybe consult to help people to build their thing in order, to where my thing is.
Yeah.
I know the process. I know how to do that. But the kind of, I wouldn't say I'm stuck in it, but it's nice to know that there are other people that are or have gone through that, come out the other side doing something different, and then
Yeah, I mean, if I could say
options.
to mine, this is maybe interesting for some of your listeners that are maybe younger, aspiring trainees, ski instructors, or thinking about it. Or, I mean, it's never too late to start thinking about a different career, but quite often the careers find you and you end up being interested in it. But if I could say to my 20-year-old ski instructor-y type person, get something else, certainly for the off seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never been that interested in kind of going skiing all year round.
Yeah.
Mountain biking is still a big passion of mine in the summers, and to miss out summers would be...
Yeah, I hear you.
But to be able to say to a young ski instructor or somebody interested in getting into the industry, trying to find something else that they are passionate about and love that could maybe connect with skiing as well, but just getting a career and investing in time and money and trying to. But you've got to know what you want to do as well. Which, to be honest, when you're 20 years old,
you don't know, do you? Maybe 30. You might have a slight idea.
Maybe 40.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm 90, I might. Shit, that's what I should have done with my life.
Well, yeah, but I've got the other. So I've bored the listeners to death again about this before, but so my other hobby is motorbikes. Right, I love doing that, but I don't want to turn that into work.
Well, I used to mountain bike guide in the summers.
Yeah, you see, does that
I kind of went into that and started going through the whole French diplome thing, and I remember just getting to a point and going,
what am I doing? Yeah. Because
a lot of the guides that I worked with never went riding for themselves.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought, look, I'm not. Plus, do you know what? It's not. I found it quite hard to work with. There's a lot of people breaking themselves and a lot of.
It's really dangerous mountain biking.
Yeah.
I'd say more than skiing. You hit stuff like hard trees and rocks and things.
Yeah, you can.
The helicopter goes more often in the summer than it does in the winter.
It goes wrong quite quick. I mean, you think about how many crashes, high speed, slow speed, whatever, you've probably had on skis and got out. I mean, I've been very lucky over the years, but my luck ran out I think it was about 4 years ago now, downhilling in Italy, in Salsi Giu, just around the corner. And we did the loop and we went up and did it again. And there's a bit of a drop. It was about 3 metre drop into a left-hand bend, and it all went wrong, and I just landed slightly off balance, hit this root, front wheel left it, and I sort of hit this bank. Knew my collarbone had gone straight away, so my collarbone was broken, and I thought that was kind of it. Went home, laid on the sofa a bit after coming out of the hospital, and they said, yeah, you've broken your collarbone. Sent me home, and then I passed out at home. My wife was going crazy and thinking, oh my God, what's going on? Because I sort of stood up and passed out and fell on the floor and cut my head open. Went to my doctor's the day after, and it turned out I'd broken the middle of my sternum and the side, they call it floating ribs. So the whole rib cage was floating. My left lung was full of blood, and my hip was fractured.
What?
So I did.
No one noticed at the hospital.
The guy just X-rayed my. I think I was being quite. Broken collarbone, X-ray. So yeah, you can. But saying all of that, that's by far the worst crash I'd had biking. I've broken a thumb in here before and broken a wrist here. But it all kind of came at once.
Wow.
But what you're going to do, you're not going to... I think if you're going to do any sport to any level, at some point you're going to have...
Yeah.
You can be really lucky. I mean, as I said right at the beginning, some of the biggest crashes I've probably had on skis have ended up in nothing.
I always have the same crash on skis. Fall to the inside, my right foot.
Your right foot inside or your...
Off my left foot, so I fall to this side, always. Always. It's just like it's my thing. Except my back
what
is now so
dress? It's maybe what it is.
Maybe, it's like a pro tip. No, I don't, early season, well, in fact I don't anymore very well because my back is ruined, but I don't, what do you call this, separate very well in the middle of my body, so I ski in a quite a...
Angulate or separate?
That's
yeah.
Yeah, separate is the other one.
And you're right-footed, I'd assume.
I'm right-footed, yeah. So I kind of ski most of the season on my right foot, and so it's always there, and it just slips away. And I end up like sliding down the slope.
Past people.
Looking at
Hi.
it. Oh, this is cool.
Hi. Let's do this.
This is my thing.
This is my turn, I like this.
No, but I could see ways, jumping back to where we were, so I could see ways that you could make money from motorbiking.
Yeah.
But I'm very deliberately not touching it because I've had a weird time in the last few years about skiing where I've kind of done the same thing, not gone skiing for myself because it's because I've turned the thing that I used to love into what I do as a living.
If your hobby becomes your work, it's not your hobby anymore.
And so that's why I've ended up going down the road of like telemarketing in my spare time.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not very good at it, and I really enjoy it, and so I'm not going to touch it, at all. I'm not going to turn it into anything. I'm definitely not going to start telling what it's cool. It's definitely not on my list.
I've heard so many people say I'm definitely not going to do that. But
yeah.
No, telemarketing. I mean, the thing is with telemarketing, it's so. I one of the first jobs I had in the Alps was guiding for a hotel.
Yeah.
Again, this is back in the day where it was all a bit kind of
Wild Westy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just started telemarketing because it was a way for me to be in Muppet again.
Yeah, and slow.
Yeah, and I could still outski even probably after not being cockier. This is more a comment on the bad skiers we had, but after a week was still able to outski the best skiers we had on telemarks, and I think I did 2 seasons where I maybe put on skis once in a while.
Yeah.
So it's nice to feel like a Muppet. But
I do have my friends come out, or so otherwise I just don't get bored.
Yeah.
Or
and it's a different feeling, and it's quite nice. That was what I'd stuck a snowboard on for probably about 5 or 6 hours in my life, and I just hated's not the right word. It was again nice to feel like a Muppet, but I didn't like the feeling because I think I'd skied and telemarked a lot by this stage.
Yeah.
The feeling that whatever my right foot did, the left foot would have to do something.
Yeah, okay.
I felt blocked.
Yes.
Not like a skateboard where, you can move your feet or a surfboard or whatever. I'm not really good at going sideways, I think.
Well, I've spoken to a number of people about this, and surfing is very different to snowboarding, apparently, according to those guys. And I think skateboarding is the same, but apparently in surfing you're very front on, so you sort of cross the board like that, so your chest is facing the front of the board. But we had a day, I think it was last year or the year before, where we had a training day specifically for snowboarding. So we got like a top level Basie coach to come down, and because some of our guys were teaching snowboarding, skiers that were teaching snowboarding, and I got back on the snowboard first time must be in 5 years at least, and I can barely reach down and do up the buckle stuff.
Yeah.
Just don't have that range of movement in my back anymore. And I was like, I'm too old to be sitting on the floor. This is a bit much. But did it. But on the way home, he gave us a couple of tips, which made a revelation to how to ride a snowboard. But I hooked up a couple of I think they're called front side turns, whatever they are. I hooked up a couple of those on my way back, and I was like, ooh.
Felt nice.
Oh, I know what now I get it. I get what this is, this thing. And it feels good when you
it's not in any way a anti-snowboard thing at all. A lot of over the years, a lot of my favourite people to go up the mountain with, if I'm not working and go and try and have some bigger lines off piste, would be snowboarder friends. Yeah. It was just for me, I felt really blocked.
Oh, I get that. I get what you're saying.
6 hours is probably not.
No, but you're locked into it. I get it. There's nothing independent.
Just felt really, completely blocked and weirdly kind of. I felt, prisoned. Like someone just dropped me in cement.
Yeah. They're very the best. Well, the British snowboards I've noticed. This is a real tangent. The British snowboards I've noticed, they're very square, so everything stays like they look like statues riding along. The Swiss guys are much more flary, but so I guess the French guys too. But what it did do, it's curious. It's made me start a snowboard school because I got back from that thinking, well, actually, the last thing that these guys need who snowboard is a skier showing up who does a bit of snowboarding on the side. That's not really fair, and that's not really doing it justice, because it is, I tell you, snowboarding is, it's still, I think it's gone sort of full circle. It's actually now, it's what the little brother does. It's rebellious. It's kind of what, it's gone back to being a bit counterculture, because everyone's got back into skiing now. There was a big boom.
Going to turn. Yeah, it was a big boom, and then to be honest, a lot of the skiers, or the youngsters, skiing was cooler and the more thing to do, and so I thought to myself, well, these guys deserve like their own place to hang out, and the guy that shows up to give you your snowboard lesson should be a snowboarder. It should be the only thing that he does. Yeah, and also it's going to put someone off. If and you see it in anything, but if the client or the person paying for coaching is looking at who they're being coached by and thinking, I'm not sure that that's what I want to be doing, and I'm not sure they know what they're talking about, and it undermines the whole thing. And they're not into it, that's it's a really important thing. So I've kind of recruited on that basis, and we're getting going with that this winter. It's going to be really... It's a funny, different thing. I do think a lot of snow, and I'm talking about probably the average British snowboarder as a recreational snowboarder, I think they don't follow lessons in the same way a lot of skiers do. No, they don't. Absolutely not. Once they can turn left or right and get down a blue, they're gone. And it's a shame, because I think, knowing quite a few very good snowboarders, and I mean, Serre Chevalier is the home of Pierre Vaultier and Charlotte Banks lives around the corner, both world champions border cross. Seeing a decent level of snowboard instructor and being able to completely change in a short time the average snowboarder going down the mountain, because they think they don't. I don't know whether it's just that it's a bit cool, I don't need a lesson, I don't know. There is certainly not the same level of there isn't the same culture of continuing development of your skills as there is in skiing. It looks maybe it's a bit sad. If maybe it's sad, but you should see. I mean, the top guys who do snowboarding, you've seen them as well as I have. They're magicians. Yeah, totally. It's extraordinary what they can do. Totally. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to aspire to be that good. But again, it comes back down to the personality of people. I think the people that come to me normally are a type of... They're not necessarily thinking they're going to be the best skier in the world, but they want to do it as well as they can. They quite often run their own businesses. They probably are that type of person that they want to ski down that slope as well as they can, and they want to keep progressing. And if they can't do something, it annoys them and niggles them. So they'll invest the time and effort into trying to sort it out. I know someone like that. It's me. No, but again, it's you're not somebody who's going to work for somebody else and just do a 9 to 5. No, I don't think I could, even if I tried. Same for you, right? So it's a type of person, and again, trying to work out in a short amount of time, I think, is a big thing for any instructor of anything. This lesson is for that person, and I'm doing this because I think it's going to work for that person better. I mean, I've got a couple that I ski with quite a lot. They've got a property in Serre Chevalier, and I refuse to teach them together. They ski very similar, husband and wife, but purely because they can't have a lesson together. We can go skiing together. He's the most analytic. He needs to know everything. She listens and hears and is rhythm and You couldn't have two people further apart. And if I talk to him about skiing and she's even slightly hearing it, she just gets paralysis through this analysis. And if I'm talking to her about rhythm and he's looking at me like, what the hell are you smoke something? So I said to them, look, we can go skiing. But I'm not I can't coach you together. That's fair enough, right?
different people learn different
well,
ways.
and it's good. We do more skiing, but it's just interesting trying to really streamline whatever your information is at least gone through a thought process about who am I delivering that information to, rather than just lesson 3, lesson 4.
This ties in neatly with my last sort of thought bubble here, which is philosophy of skiing and teaching. So let's start with teaching rather, since we're already on it. So that forms a large part of how you would teach. It's first understanding who it is that you're teaching.
Yeah, I think anybody inexperienced trying to give information kind of thinks that their mouth is the only way they're going to get that information across.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas listening, looking, to me, is the first major way of understanding what we're going to do in a session. Again, trying to listen to them. What do you think of your skiing? And listening to what they're saying gives you hints that maybe they're misunderstanding. They're actually trying to do something that is holding them back, but they still think that is the area they should do. Putting them at ease, priming, whatever you want to call it, and not throwing a million things at them. You're better off giving them one solid thing that works, that can stick and can kind of hopefully be there, rather than 3 days after you've given them 4 or 5 things, they've all fallen off and been blown off in the wind, and then they don't really understand. So slowing down, as we touched on earlier, watching more than 2 or 3 runs, actually giving yourself as a coach time to digest and look at what you're working with, and slowing it down, rather than trying to being paranoid that if you don't revolutionise or give a massive blah 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 blah, do this in the first 20 minutes of a lesson, they might think that you're not a good instructor.
Yeah, I think it's 2 things in that, isn't there? There's the one that's like, you sort of feel like you should be delivering value for money, therefore you feel like you've got to be working as in talking from the word go, and it's that pressure, isn't it?
You run off in the first 5 minutes with an idea. If it's the wrong idea, you're going to waste that whole session.
That's right.
So backing off.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't maybe give them 1 or 2 things to think about. As you said earlier, what's the snow feel like? What's the thing? But trying to ask questions, watch.
It takes a certain amount of experience to have that bravery to be able to do that, though. If you've got
to believe in you.
Yeah.
If they don't, if they believe in you, you could tell someone, do you know what, Dave, you've got to ski down here with your penis out. That's going to work for you. So that's a way you're going to ski better. If they believe you, they'll do it. Okay, I've been arrested twice now. No, but joking aside, if they trust in your ability, your knowledge, what you're doing with them, that's going to go a long way, and that comes down to you being sure about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're the professional there. And we've all done it. As a younger instructor, you're going to start throwing things at somebody, and you are literally seeing what's going to stick. You have no plan.
No.
And the worse you doubt yourself, the more things you start throwing. So slowing it down and being sure that actually, that, as I said, there's a beginning, a middle and an end. That beginning phase, I think, is often rushed, and it's not the beginning of a lesson. That's for you as a coach to take a bit of time to work out where you're going to go down.
To take the time to see where the beginning actually is. Yeah, that's really sound advice.
And not rushing in and trying to give 6-7 bits of advice.
3 hours is a lot of time. You've got plenty of time to kind of do that initial analysis.
And it's funny, going all the way back to learning on a dry slope, and there was a really good, I remember the instructor trainer thing, and he said, if you've got somebody and you see 3 or 4 problems, sometimes tackling one of the main ones, the other things often disappear anyway.
Yeah, that's true. You can liken that to
always
like...
true, but it's, you know, it's like, what am I going to decide how this story is going to go, rather than they're paying me, I've got to start throwing things at them now, quick, otherwise they're going to get fed up.
That's true. You can liken that a little bit like to like physiotherapy or my trips to the chiropractor. You know, if he puts everything back in line, then actually the muscles then just relax and everything just drops into where it should be. So you've solved 2 or 3 other things with this one thing.
Yeah.
But you've got to work out what the priority thing is.
Yeah, and again, knowing and listening at the beginning. I mean, coming back, especially I think it's something with pretty good skiers sometimes, they are trying to do things that aren't... They're actually trying to do things because of their misunderstanding that is really holding them back.
Yeah.
Rather than spending the time to explain it. So I think putting things into 3 things. There might be tactical things that you're trying to work on. There might be technical things, whatever you think is a technical thing, but you know, you put your hands here, try and do this, blah, blah, blah. And then just quite often explaining in a better way what they're trying to achieve. Because quite often that is a massive light bulb moment for people. Hold on, I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to whack all my edge on early in the turn. That's what I thought I was supposed to do. And then they're wondering why they're going Mach 50 down something slightly steep.
Well, yeah, especially when it's not appropriate to the conditions that, you know, you often find people skiing the same way.
I think
irrespective of the snow, right?
They like black and white answers.
Yeah.
So when you kind of say it's not always like this, it's like, well, I know I want a black and white answer.
Yeah, that's true.
And just almost put into people, you know, if the slope was always the same, if the snow texture was always the same, if you're always on the same kit and your goal was always the same, then you can block those things off and maybe always do it like that. But that doesn't happen. Constantly the snow's changing, your equipment's changing, the terrain's changing, it's always changing. So therefore, in a way, you're constantly changing.
So then what's just jumped into my head now is the difference in this world that we have between the linear thinkers and the lateral thinkers. And I wonder how many high-level skiers are more lateral thinking. That linear mode is kind of like, I do this because this is the sequence that it follows, whereas maybe your lateral thinkers is making...
Well, you know, when you ski on any snow...
Yeah, skiing is a collection of variables, isn't it? So, you know, to be able to say, well, I'm going to, in my head somewhere, put together all those 3 things or 4 things that are happening in this moment there, and that's the answer, that's the move I've got to make. That's not a process.
If you're going to ski down any slope, probably the first thing, you want to look at the snow. You know, an experienced skier doesn't even think about it, but that's what they're doing. They're probably taking in the snow because of experience, thinking, what the last time I saw that, what did it ski like? Putting a pole on the snow before you even going, stabbing the snow, having a feel, whether it's piste or off-piste or whatever. The first 2 or 3 turns, you're maybe just, again, tasting it and getting a feel for it.
That's certainly what I do.
And then you're going to build with that. And a lot of, it amazes me, a lot of even quite experienced skiers that want to get better just kind of jump in and don't.
They do the same move irrespective of what's in
and then
front.
think, oh, I'm not skiing well, or I'm not doing this well, and then they blame a million other things. It's because you're, if you like, I quite often talk about things like edge, pressure, rotation, you know, the classic kind of 3 things that, you remember the old graphic equalisers?
I do that.
Yeah.
You do that too. Yeah.
So,
I draw little bar charts on the...
Exactly. So depending on where you are, and the amount of people that I say, the problem with your skiing is that someone stuck super glue on them. So when you're on the terrain that works for your settings, you're happy.
Yes.
But as soon as the terrain isn't right for your settings, you don't have that ability to be able to adjust and move.
Like one of those big mixing desks.
Yeah. back in the DJ man.
Yeah. Someone still around uses those probably.
But and yeah, not complicating it.
No. Tell me about this will be the last one because I've kept you way long enough. At least the Italian man stopped shouting.
He's having a siesta.
Tell me, we talked about philosophy, teaching. Let's talk about sort of technical skiing philosophy. Like, what is there like a way that you like to do it? What do you do when you ski? Do you think too hard?
I think the process for me, and it might not be the same for everyone, is that you've got to experiment and think about certain things. Obviously, you can go through a slight phase of that. Hips are where your hip is to me key.
In a vertical, horizontal plane.
One of my big gripes, I suppose, with a lot of skiers that come to me is that they kind of have got an impression that they should keep their hips facing down the hill. You touched on that earlier about somebody on a surfboard.
Yeah.
Their hips might be kind of facing across the if you like,
equipment, right?
Across the equipment, but their chest can still be there.
Yeah.
The articulation between, say, your chest and your hips, there is a massive articulation there.
Yeah.
So too many people, I think, come and think, right, I've got to keep my chest down the hill, which might be appropriate for the turns that they're doing, and it could be a good thing for them to be able to do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they have to lock their hips facing down the hill. And that, to me, holds a lot of people back and end up with this huge leg lead and very steery turns.
Yeah, leaving the outside leg behind.
And once you can start actually getting people to sort of drive their hip through the turn and stay in a much stronger position that allows them to free up a lot of movement. They can incline more, they can add edge angle through their ankles, they can take it off, whereas when they get in that very blocked position, all of those movements are virtually physically impossible.
Two things about that. One, I think the hip is a tremendously powerful joint, and I think with the advent of modern curved edge skis, parabolic skis, the ski promotes a much more. It's much better to go with the ski with your hip,
stronger,
rather than fighting it. Right?
Yeah.
The downhill hip thing is an old school thing when the skis used to be.
You still see I see a lot of lessons on the mountain where somebody has probably come to the ski school and said, I want to learn how to carve.
Yeah.
And the instructor will kind of get the person to almost slide the inside ski forward and tell them almost to imagine you're going to sit on a bar stool and you're going to lift your leg
like the scissoring thing. Yeah.
And whack the hip on, and hey presto, the skis go on an edge and they carve. And the client is maybe, I can carve better. And as soon as you get onto anything steeper it obviously doesn't work.
Doesn't work. You've got no steering ability. You can't.
And you're skeletally weak.
Yeah.
So as soon as you're getting steeper, faster, there's more pressure, there's more angles, there's more force. Your body isn't in any kind of position unless you're super strong. To be able to deal with it. Now, whether that's, I don't read tons of manuals. I have read this and that, and the French system and the British system a little bit. I've not really actually seen a Bayesian manual really, but it works it's worked for me. I still like to think I can get better. I love a good pair of skis on piste, on hard snow.
Yeah, who doesn't? I'm with you on that. I think the hip is kind of.
Well, it's going to affect the hip's going to affect anything above and below.
Yes.
So it's really the ringmaster.
What strikes me is that the power that is contained within the hip is incredible. you can kind of make it do anything. And also, if you really want, there's a whole bunch of kind of stuff you can do to get the skis to turn that would be contrary to the whole bar stool thing. For example, like if you really want to, you can positively rotate everything into the turn, and it still works. You know, because as long as you've got control of this hip area. Now, for years, I used to kind of, I think it was Andy McCann told me that. So you would point, you know, at turn rotation, you would kind of get everything pointing sort of inside the turn.
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly well. And I do that a little bit now, but I've gone back to doing it because what it does is it delays me going inside too early. So it sort of creates a long setup for the turn. But you can achieve the same thing actually by doing that, as long as you've got control of. It's an audio podcast, so I'm saying doing that.
Just so you know, we're both naked in this room doing weird things.
You can kind of cant yourself towards the outside of the turn, but as long as you've got control of your hip area, you can pretty much do whatever you want with the turn.
If it's work, I mean, the thing at the end of the day, you see subtle differences in the best skiers in the world.
Yeah.
But it's working for them, and we're all built differently. You're all going to walk down the road differently. We've all got different things. I'm shorter, so I could maybe get away with massively inclining more than somebody 6'4".
For sure.
But experimenting, and I think, you know, the way you as a ski instructor ski down the slope, that's obviously your shop window.
Yes.
And I think it's a shame when you see a ski, and I know quite a few that, you know, 4 years has gone by, they haven't serviced their skis, for example. I'm looking at their boots and thinking that, how do they perform? I'm not saying that you need to change your boots every 5 minutes, but... No,
but you've got to look right?
Well, the equipment's got to work for you. And trying to stay in a point where, do you know what? The one element of my skiing and biking that I can't do anything like I used to is jump. I'm skiing bumps. You know, it just physically I haven't got that range of movement. But generally, just trying to keep improving and learn and still learning and watch people and look at them and go, I want to ski like that. I want to be able to ski down a hill like that.
Yeah.
You know, being lucky enough to ski with a few top end skiers over the years is great, just to watch them.
What did you give me an example of that? Who did you see and what did you get out of that?
I think the ease.
Yeah.
There was a guy and he used to train the ski instructor, or he used to do a thing called the AGI, which is like training young guys to pass their test technique. And he would ski down, and he was not a young guy, and he would have these fit, probably 18 to 23, 4-year-old guys. Some were maybe Club de Sport, some were whatever, Parisians, whatever. And they'd all be following his tracks, but the difference would be that he looked like he could have been on the phone with his left hand to his wife saying, I think we should have chicken tonight. He could have had a different phone in the other hand doing Sudoku or whatever, you know. And because he was placed so well on the skis and his body position was so precise and efficient, the skis were working and it was allowing him to move much more fluidly from turn to turn and adjustment and balance and all that, because his body wasn't tense.
Because he wasn't just making shapes.
He wasn't just making shapes, but he wasn't trying to force anything, and because maybe just relaxing and trying just to let everything work. That doesn't happen overnight. I'm not saying you need to go through years of...
Yeah, you have to reach a certain level of mastery to go there, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did years ago, and this Luc Alphonse, you've obviously heard of, and we did a derby, Serre Chevalier derby, and there was a massive roller. Now, obviously, when you're used to week in, week out going to World Cup down hills. This was a big jump. If you hit it at speed, it was a big jump.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 80, 90 metres air time.
Okay.
And there was guys, younger racers, that were, French team, whatever, but not...
Mm-hmm.
But he hit this thing at full speed. But again, he just looked... He looked like me and you would just be sipping a coffee. It was just placement, and I think that's what you see when you... And for me, and this is an important lesson, I think, for instructors, younger instructors coming through, don't underestimate somebody watching you and following you, especially if they're visual. That could be almost the most important thing you do with them. Could be. I'm not saying it should be, but it...
Yeah, but ski properly.
Ski properly, but also, just let them watch, but understand what they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, you're a good skier. You're a ski instructor, you're a great skier.
Yeah.
But it's skiing in a way that helps that person maybe watch.
Yeah.
And it's a good way of also making them believe in you. If you can ski down a slope and they look at you and go, I really want to ski like that. Coming back to what we said about him trying to get their trust.
Yeah, you have to be inspirational as well, right?
It's not a show-off thing. It's like, that's... But just trying to... I will purposely sometimes just put a few turns in when I know maybe they're looking, not to go so they can go, oh my God, that's amazing. It helps embed this idea, you're my coach. I believe you because I've seen you do it. And it's not maybe the best thing when it's a funny industry that maybe on the last day of a lot of ski instructors' exams is the best they ever ski.
Yes.
If you do 6-7 hours of teaching kids every day for 5 years, maybe you're going to lose it. But I think maybe we should, as an industry, try and keep it a little bit more.
What keeps me fresh is the quality of the instructors that come now that I employ. They're all amazing. We've gone through a little run lately of like having ex-FIS races and stuff, and there's been a few of those, and it's just like, crikey! Like I've got to keep on this because they're so good. The stuff they can do is it's extraordinary.
Do you do much sort of in-house training with the instructors?
Yeah, we do 2 days at the start of the season, and then we try to have one a month through. It's all we have time for, really. And we try to make them like idea swaps and general ski abouts. So it's not mega formal.
No, but I think that's why...
But it's an open forum for because the thing is I've seen much younger instructors than me, and I've sort of shadowed lessons with them or just looked at them and stuff, and they've come out with stuff, and I'm like, wow, I've never would have considered doing that. It's extraordinary. I dropped in on one of Max's lessons last year, and he was doing a lesson about scraping peanut butter or something off a piece of toast, and I was like, what great imagery that is. And I was there for ages. You did an hour.
I think the thing is, when you do that, it doesn't mean you have to copy that, but it can change the way you think about it.
Absolutely. Oh, it's brilliant. And I picked up something the other day, which 3 years ago, that I've used ever since, which was something about how you can get someone to learn what a snowplow does by sort of having them make the snowplow, and then you give them your pole and you sort of pull them along, so they resist you, right? And that gives them the sensation before you take them to an angled slope.
That's exactly in the ski school apps.
Well, that's
when
probably
I
where I
was to
robbed it
teach,
from.
but you're holding two poles and pulling them along, so there's no fear for them.
No, because they're on the flat, right?
But they can feel, they can see, I'm having to pull you more now than that's creating resistance. That's got you there. But it's I think it's something. I should I in France don't see tons of the UCPA. Have you heard of the UCPA?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
They do that quite a lot, which is good, and I think it's a good way to keep younger or keep instructors kind of fresh.
Do you have to do refreshers in France?
But yeah, well, there's a kind of weird thing that I'm in this weird kind of situation where I have a carte professionnel. I'm in the French system, but I'm also sort of in the Basie. There's a slight grey area.
Okay.
I don't want to go into it too much, but
Fine.
no, but it's Basie or encourage to stay. I'm not actually a member of Basie anymore.
Okay, neither am I.
But
Yeah.
my carte professionnel is fluid for basically life.
So actually, it's once you're done, you're done.
I think in the French system, they advise you to do recyclage.
Does anyone do it?
But it's a bit more of a, you can do it if you want. I think
Yeah.
the people that care do it.
The Swiss do it every 2 years. So I've got mine coming up this autumn. But you've got... So last time I went, it was a really good ski about.
Yeah.
It was a bit... And some young fellow who was like 20 years younger than me, just like ripping everywhere. But I find them really inspirational.
Yeah.
Because you see some extraordinary skiing going on.
Yeah.
It's in Zermatt, start of the year, all the demo teams there, like ripping. And I find it great. Yeah, it's a great atmosphere.
I'd love to do... I think
But
I would
it's
love to do some interesting things. Like
well, this is where it gets interesting because in the Swiss system, they have a whole bunch of choice as to what you can do. So you go along to a Basie CP, so what do you call it? Refresher. And they'll be like, this is the refresher we do, and you go along and you ski with Jazz or whoever, like, you know, for a day, and he updates you on the latest thing, and kind of that's that. I have a choice, so I can go and do a race module, I can do a freestyle module, I can do a general ski about, and you can kind of tick the level that you fancy doing. You can do a backcountry refresher, you can do all sorts of these things, but I've picked, so I'm going to Griments the weekend of the 3rd of December to do a telemark refresher.
Right.
It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
I can go there and I can actually learn something. We're not going to take it too seriously because it's my hobby, but I can go and learn something about telemark.
It might be your hobby, but you probably still want to go, just what should I work on?
Yeah, and I'm going to go and see some cool telemarkers and maybe I'll learn some stuff and it'd be great.
I did a long weekend I was invited to a thing, to Swedish setup called Skiers Accredited.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah. Which Damien worked.
Damien Franson.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, when you were talking about best skiers you've ever seen, he's it.
He's a great skier.
Oh my god, that guy's a magician.
Yeah, and I bump into... Normally, I do a bit of work in Zermatt every year.
Yeah.
Just normally a couple of clients, depends on the year, but I normally bump into him there.
If you
Also,
see him,
Nadia, I can't remember her name. She's on the demo team as well. Quite short.
Grunfelder.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm really good at pronouncing German words.
If you see Damien, say hi. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, no, he's good. Australian, isn't he? Or
He's half
something?
Australian, yeah.
Won't hold that against him. And
Not when you can ski like that. My god.
but it's just, again, it's that having... It was a good few days and topics were kind of thrown out. And it wasn't that you're being judged on anything you're saying or doing. Everyone's got years of experience under their belt. Everyone's secure in what they are and who they are.
Yeah.
You know, it cast my mind back to days of doing exams as a younger person. It's so horrible being watched when you teach, and I've seen so many people that are great instructors, but you put them in an environment and they fall to pieces. Because of the situation. And teaching other instructors is a bit, well, it's fake as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you give them feedback? Does that mean you're slagging off their skiing? Does that mean you're putting yourself on a pedestal? Does it, you know, it's all, there's lots of social little elements to it.
Yeah.
But it was good to just throw different ideas around and mess around and try and put different things together. I've done some stuff with a guy called Charlie Baroon. He's got a thing called Alpha Project in Serre Chevalier. He was like high end. He was, I think, at 14, 15, 16, he was like one of the best slalom skiers in France, and just burnt out.
Okay.
Had enough, but he's now kind of coaches stuff. And again, isolating different movements with him. You know, just doing this and just doing that movement and just doing this and experiment with how far you can take it and then backing it off and then rebuilding and putting it all back together. I think it's just quite interesting, and as a skier you learn. I mean, I'm just picking up, but it's almost I learnt it from experimenting with it, which you can do with clients, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But more stuff like that, I think, is it would be good for the industry.
Mm.
And just, I think people coming in, your job as an instructor, you know, is to hopefully get a beginner or new person skiing, fall in love with skiing,
Yeah.
and turn somebody who skis a bit into a skier who, and again, it's not about level,
No.
but investing in equipment, investing in lessons, falling in love with the sport, understanding it more. It breaks my heart a little bit seeing people that could ski and fall in love with it, I suppose, walking away from the sport through bad experiences that could be controlled.
My wife is one. You just met her. She had a crappy instructor in Sassafay once, never been back since.
Yeah.
And I've had her on ski. She's balanced like a cat.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Which is
And made to feel that they're bad.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Could be great. And I was like, it's a shame as a situation. You want one last crack at it, because if we don't, Zoe's going to be gone, and we won't be able to ski together as a family or whatever. And the experience you have was so bad that she'll never go back on skiing.
Yeah.
It's awful. And that's like, it's like a lifetime customer lost, because if you...
The danger is not only that person, but that...
all the other people she tells, right?
Yeah, don't go skiing. The boots are horrible. The luckily she kept going, but a client a few years ago, and she was a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So her coordination and balance and all this. She started a beginner lesson in ski school, and again, this is not a criticism of ski schools, it's just the way that happened, and she was told she was bad. She was a day behind all the other beginners, beginners, a day makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, it's huge.
She went back in the ski shop, she rented the boots from all, her shins were red raw, and she was told that that's beginners find that all the time. And I insisted, same with ski shops, I'm a really popular in a lot of ski shops. But she was told that, she was sent back out.
Mm-hmm.
I went back in the ski shop with her. Her boots were 3 sizes too big.
Oh.
And I insisted that the guy measure her feet. And he, the guy does a 2-week course.
Yeah.
And he's a ski technician.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
ultimately he's going to intimidate the hell out of this poor person who knows nothing about the sport, then takes off her skis for life, goes back to wherever, tells her 10 best friends, don't go skiing, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
That we can't afford that as an industry.
No, absolutely not.
Especially since everything that's gone on in the last sort of 4 years.
Yeah.
And is going on,
The latest thing I've been hearing from the people that we've... So I go through this process of contacting everybody at the start of the year. And now they're talking... So the last few years it's been COVID, not sure if I can travel. This year it's like my electricity bill is so high that we have to choose between that or going on a ski holiday. Which is extraordinary.
Ukraine, the whole thing with war... a lot of ski manufacturers have got factories in Ukraine.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of ski manufacturers either buy materials from Russia or Ukraine.
Really?
Huge thing.
Well, I better
Wood,
hang on
aluminium.
to that old pair of Castos that I've got there.
Keep them. Because
Keep them in the locker.
there are certain ski brands that, are really... if you think if you're going to sell X amount of skis to hundreds of shops, and the price of your aluminium or wood or whatever changes by a small amount, that's a huge thing. So the industry doesn't need barriers.
Doesn't need any more than it's had in the last few years, does it?
So young guys and girls coming through, just again we're coming back to what we said about fun. Let's help people start the sport and stick with it and enjoy it and stay in it.
Everyone in that chain has a responsibility, don't they? To make it a pleasant experience. I've been chatting to a few people on this podcast about sort of this topic, how they do things slightly better. I think in the US, where the customer experience is more highly rated than it is in, say, the Francophone world. I think that's mega important, because anyone who becomes the weak link in that chain, that can be enough to put that person off forever, right?
Yeah.
You'd rather go to the beach.
Yeah, why give reasons to not go?
Yeah.
You know, and ski shops especially. I mean, one of my biggest gripes is badly serviced skis, and a lot of the ski shops would charge a premium for a top end ski, but it might be absolutely crap. So, like from a condition wise, I've had skiers that one lady sticks out. She's a lovely lady, tidy little skier. She'd skied 3 days. We were doing groups early season with the Ski Club of Great Britain. I still do them. Good, a really early season, normally in Teen and Val d'Isère. And she had 3 days. We swapped groups. I saw her ski down, and I could also look at her body language, and it's like, Anne, what's going on? And she literally burst into tears and said, I want to give up skiing.
Because
I knew this was going to happen at some point. I think I've hit this age, can't ski anymore. But I watched her ski down, and what she was doing didn't look, the output wasn't matching what was happening, if you like. Somebody in the group, and I'm not advising you always do this, but somebody in the group had the same din setting, same size boot, said, look, do you mind just swapping skis for 200 metres down this slope? And she said, it's not the skis, I've just had them serviced.
Right.
Which made me even more. And she skied down 200 metres, burst into tears again for feeling happy.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it is the skis.
Yeah.
And I always have a little gommy.
Me too. I have one in my pocket.
Just have it in your pocket.
I have, because I've been on the beginner slope so many times where you see a kid who can't release the tail of the ski. It's just been tip to tail, super. So you just rub the end off a bit. And
rub the end off once, twice up, bang, went down, spoke to somebody I knew in the resort, I contacted Phil Smith in Teen. Where's a good shop?
Yeah.
Because again, it's a minefield.
Yes.
It's got a ski serviced. She's skiing around. Oh my god! She's literally on cloud 9.
Yeah.
But she's not experienced enough to be able to go, that's the ski doing that.
Yeah.
So again, if there's anybody who works in ski shops, if you service skis, ski on your skis. Service them differently. Change what you're doing. Ski on them. Feel what the difference it makes. That's somebody who knows what they're doing, not, I've done a 2-week course, I'm just going to chuck the skis over this machine, chuck them out.
Yeah, I went through a phase of doing my own, and now I just take them to a guy, and the guy does a great, the same job every time. It's consistent, so it's like, okay, I know what I'm going to get. That's all right. That's good enough for me.
Depending on the snow, I'm lucky enough that there's a shop, and that's the best shop in Serre Chevalier.
Yeah.
He does them for nothing. I put them in every now and then. If I need to run a diamond down it here and there, I will. But again, this idea that a ski instructor doesn't service their skis for 3-4 years baffles me.
I've been guilty of not, neglecting them a little bit, but not to that extent.
Yeah, that's my. Little areas. Let's all try and make everybody's experience the
you're
best
welcoming
it can be.
to your region, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is it. If everyone does a decent job, that person goes home and they come back every single year. In terms of like a lifetime return on client, which I think is the corporate phrase, like it's huge.
And again, it's not. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not complicated.
No, especially in modern time, now, there's such crappy service everywhere on everything. That it's not hard to get it right at all. You just got to be like a human, essentially. Yeah. Who sort of cares a little bit about.
Yeah, you've got to give a shit. I mean, at the end of the day, and
why wouldn't you give a shit? Like, it's your job, right? You're riding on a chairlift with people, and someone's paying you for it. Like.
Yeah, but plus, it's a weird thing. If your light on your car comes up saying it needs a service or there's something wrong, people go to the garage, but they don't do the same with other stuff.
No. It's true.
So every little helps. I suppose maybe it's just me getting older. I need all the help I can get.
Right. Thank you so much. Where can people get in touch with you if they wish to? Where should we direct them?
I've been really bad on social media because I just kind of got over it a little bit. I know it sounds really bad.
It's all right. I turned off all my social media. It's
that is the bane of my life, replying to comments on Facebook and YouTube.
No one does that once they're famous. Shall I just tell them to Google Darren Turner?
Darren Turner.
Yeah.
Darren Turner at insightski, one word.com.
SIGHT.
Yeah, ski.com. Or Darren Turner Facebook, Darren Turner Skiing on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You can use the psychic airwaves, put your hands on your forehead and hum. Anything like that, I can give you a phone number on if you need it.
I'll put it. I'll find it on the internet and I'll add
Just
a couple of
don't
links.
ask me stupid questions. People say there's no such thing as a stupid question. I disagree.
I think it depends how much you.
Do you want to come to my New Year's Eve party? Yeah, when is it? I mean, that's a stupid question. Why is it when it snows, it only snows off-piste? That was one of my favourite ones.
Serious?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
What do they do with the moguls in the summer?
What's the snow like?
What's the snow like going to be in 2025 on May the 5th?
Do you think there'll be snow in December? Well,
But no, and I just would like to say thanks for putting the series together as well, because it's a bit weird. I'm in Serre Chevalier. It's a bit of a very un-British area.
yeah, it's very bold.
But it's quite interesting to just listen to people from different countries, different experiences.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes people are a bit cagey about what they do and put up barriers and try and think of it too competitively.
Yeah.
Whereas trying to be more open. So I found the series quite interesting to listen to, hear different people, different countries, different takes. So well done.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Like I say, I'm doing it because I popped out. I ended up in the, don't need to do. You pop out the system, and then where do you go from there? What do you do? And don't know. I started with Phil, and I kind of just recorded the first one, and I thought, well, maybe people will want to listen to this.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's good for
put it out
people
there as a resource.
it's quite disjointed.
Yeah.
The industry. There's a lot of people all over the place, so it's a way of pulling them together.
I would love if one of my other ideas, which I'll never get around to doing, would be to have a sort of a independent ski instructors association where you would have like an annual sort of big meet up, get together, and it would just be a very informal thing to swap ideas. And old mate over there is doing this amazing thing with social media, or this guy over here's got this great idea for how to teach this thing, but you just know that that's not going to happen.
It's hard, and I think as well, for younger instructors, probably you're kind of thinking, I need to make money, I need to do the maximum amount of hours. It's nice if you can be in a situation where you can go, well, I can take 3-4 days off and travel to wherever and do that without the feeling that it's an organisation telling me I have to.
And without thinking that if you are open enough to share some ideas, that someone's going to rip it off and nick your commercial advantage, which is, I've said to you before, I've deleted certain stuff off of this podcast before because I've thought to myself, well, actually, I'm ahead of the game slightly here, and I don't really want to share that with everyone right now.
I was sure that somebody was going to absolutely smash YouTube and start the ski instructor app, and
you must have been really crapping it right before you were launching yours.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was one actually. Sorry to go off on another tangent, but there was one in America, and it was like, oh my god, this is it. This is the one we've been waiting for, and it was shocking.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think if you've had a good idea and you want to run with it, by the time it's out, you're probably going to have another idea.
Yeah, that's true. And also the thing I have learned is that if you've got an idea, someone else has had the same idea anyway.
Yeah, it's a big difference between having an idea and doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's true.
A lot of people have good ideas, but if you don't do anything about it...
Yeah, that's true. But it seems to be something to do with the way that we communicate these days. have this conversation often with my dad, and he's like, "Oh, this was easy to do in the 80s." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, but not everyone. You didn't have this phone in your pocket that you could immediately access anything that you wanted straight away. You even think of something that you think is vaguely unique these days, and you Google it, and there's like 10 other people already doing it. I think it's just the way that it is now. There's so many people on the planet that whatever
and it's doing it right and being honest about it and trying to do it as well as you can. And I mean, this is the thing with anything. If you do something properly, it takes a long bloody time.
Yeah, I think that's the only opportunity within skiing. I can't think of, there's a few people that have come up with some stuff lately. Carve is one of them. The boot thing.
Have you tried it?
No. I don't think that.
It's quite interesting, but it's not.
I don't think
it's not what it's being.
No, I met a guy about it, and he was talking me through it, and I was like, "Oh, this is potentially useful, but I don't see how this. This can't beat an instructor's eye,
It's slightly. I don't want to poo it, but it's slightly flawed in the way as well as. Two things. Depending on the width of your liner or your foot, you get very different feedback.
Oh yeah, okay.
They might have sorted out some of this, so I don't want to poo-poo it. Or if anyone's listening, it's not.
The base of the inner liner.
The prototypes. It might have been prototypes that I was trying with them. Also, it's a useful thing, I think, with an instructor or coach watching it, having that feedback. I thought it was quite a good idea if I could easily and quickly put it in a client's boot. Yeah. And then we can look at it together. But it's not as straightforward as that. No. It's a bit more of a long-winded setup. Plus, the untrained eye or the untrained skier, the actual device doesn't know what you're trying to achieve with the turn. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't know whether you're wanting to ski it or flatten a ski or...
So it's giving you feedback based on a set of preconceived notions.
Based on information through the footbed. It hasn't got any idea of what you're trying to achieve, what the slope you're skiing is.
Yeah. No, you can't measure slope angle. Right?
There's interesting things to it, but it's not the magic pill that all these things are kind of saying now.
No. But I think that's the only kind of semi-innovative thing. So as a young instructor... Your only option really, if you want to be independent or make something in this industry, is to take an existing concept and do it better than everybody else. And that's hard when you've got guys like me around who are also trying to do the ski school as best, better than the generation before me, who presumably thought they were doing it better than the generation before them. It's like, how do you polish more something that's already being really firmly polished?
Yeah, but I think again that some of the stuff we've touched on, just making sure that's consistent throughout the ski school, I think. And again, sorry to start off again, but when I worked in the French ski school, and it's not because it was French, I want to make that clear, it's not distinct, but I heard instructors use the expression sélection naturelle, when there was somebody in the group that was maybe a bit more difficult or weaker, purposely make a decision so that person would leave.
Yeah.
And
or they just drop them off with the group below.
Or just break them. Or, purposely put them off enough that they wouldn't come back the next day because it meant that their week would be easier.
Oh, yeah, okay.
As opposed to having to work for it a bit more. Mm-hmm. And that attitude and the attitude in ski shops, in ski schools and... in the whole industry, the better we can be throughout across the board, as we said, the more likely people will come to the sport and stay in the sport.
Yeah, that's the big prize that everyone's got to keep their eye on.
Right, I think I can I put my clothes back on now?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to end it on that.